It's Dart time. Jaxson Dart is now the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. It only took 3 weeks. The Giants, they obviously wanted to bridge with Russell Wilson and have Dart sit and learn for a minute. And the fact of the matter is, Brian Daboll is coaching for his job. He needs a rookie quarterback to work out. The Giants are already in an 0-3 hole to start this season. The team sucks. There's really no good way around that. They need some kind of spark, and maybe Dart can bring that. He was a top quarterback prospect for a reason, and honestly, can it be any worse than it was with Russell Wilson? Daniel Jones was the Giants starter for most of 6 years. He replaced Eli Manning, and now Jaxson Dart is really the third guy considered to be a potential franchise quarterback for the Giants. Danny Dimes didn't work out. Maybe it was just the Giants based off of how well he's playing with the Colts, which isn't a good sign, but a fresh start was needed either way there. It was honestly hard to tell whether or not Brian Daboll was actually a good coach or not because of Jones and just the roster as a whole. He got the job in 2022 and had immediate success. They won 10 games that year, including the postseason, and he's won 9 games since in 3 years. It's been bad and pretty hard to watch at times. The poor Giants, just really, even before Daboll, they haven't been able to figure out head coach at all. Tom Coughlin won those Super Bowls, and it has been a mess since. Ben McAdoo got 2 years and got fired, not even a full 2 years actually. Pat Shurmur got fired after 2 years and just 9 wins. Joe Judge won 10 games in 2 years and got fired, and that led to Daboll, who now just really needs something special to happen if he wants to somehow keep his job. And that was obviously the first start, is a change at quarterback. The Giants completely overhauled the quarterback position in the offseason. They actually started by signing Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $8 million deal. He's a reliable vet, and even when the play hasn't been there, he's been an awesome locker room presence, and it would make sense for him to either be a solid bridge quarterback who knows the position well, or just to help a young guy develop. Winston started for the Browns last year, the Saints a bit before that, and then was supposed to be the guy for the Buccaneers years ago when they drafted him first overall. He unfortunately will spend this season pretty much as a backup the whole way unless a bunch of injuries happen, which I mean is always possible. But even when it wasn't going to be Dart starting, it was obviously going to be Russell Wilson as the starter after he got a 1-year deal for $10.5 million. He was a 10-year starter for the Seahawks, won a Super Bowl. Everything kind of went south with the Broncos, and then he spent last season as the primary starter for the Steelers. Russ, at the end of the day, is a true vet. He could be a very good mentor for Dart. Even with Winston and then drafting Dart, Russ was the clear starter at least for week 1. The Giants started the season on the road against Washington. I mean, that is not an easy matchup. That's a team that just played in the NFC Championship, and obviously Jaden Daniels isn't the easiest guy to contain. The Giants did hang around there for a while. It was a 1-score game until the Commanders scored with just 7 minutes to go to make it 21-6. The Giants did not score a touchdown, just had 2 field goals. The offensive line got thrown around, and it was just kind of an ugly showing for the Giants. Russ ended up 17 of 37. That is a lot of throws for just 168 yards. Russ also had to be their top rusher with 10 carries for just 24 yards. Not ideal. Malik Neighbors had 5 for 71, and Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 for 55. Pretty good reminder that Brian Daboll is in fact an offensive-minded head coach. Remember, he got hired after helping Josh Allen develop with the Bills. So if the offense isn't working, it is going to be easy to put the blame on him. Luckily for the Giants, the offense was booming in week 2. Unfortunately for the Giants, it was still a loss. The Giants went to Dallas, where Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott had an absolute shootout. I mean, listen to these numbers. He was 30 of 41 passing for 450 yards. Yeah, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns with a single pick. 2 of those touchdowns went to Malik Neighbors, who had 9 catches for 167 yards. Then Wan'Dale Robinson had the other touchdown and 8 catches for 142 yards. That is insane to have 2 different wide receivers go off like that. Cam Scatterbo kind of took over as the top rusher too. Now he's really the top rusher because Tyrone Tracy dislocated his shoulder in week 3. But this was kind of the Scatterbo breakout. 11 carries, 45 yards, and a rushing touchdown, taking over that backfield. He definitely owns that job now with Tracy out. Those are all pretty crazy offensive numbers. Graham Gano even went 3 for 3 on field goals. Crazy stats. The Giants did still lose. There were 9 straight drives that finished with points to end regulation. The Giants really should have won looking back because Russ somehow found Malik Neighbors on a 48-yard prayer with 25 left to go. But man, Brandon Aubrey is just such a weapon. He drills a 64-yarder at the horn, forces OT, and it did get pretty close to being a tie, but Russ had a really bad pick that wasn't even remotely close to Malik Neighbors, and it led to an Aubrey 46-yarder to win it, 40-37 at the zeros. It would have been a tie if he misses that. That was a brutal loss, and unfortunately, that left Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on deck. The first home game of the season for the Giants, and it was Sunday Night Football. Graham Gano actually got hurt pregame, something that happened last year too. So the Giants had to go without him and ended up signing Younghoe Koo to the practice squad after. Kansas City was looking for its first win of the year after a pretty rocky start, and they got it. The Chiefs were up 9-6 at half with 2 field goals, then 2 Chiefs touchdowns in the second half, put it away for a 22-9 win. Russ easily had his worst game as a Giant. He was 18 of 32, 160 yards through 2 interceptions. He also rushed for 27 yards on 5 rushes. Cam Scadaboo was basically the entire offense. Top rusher, 10 carries for 60 yards, and he was even the top receiver, 6 catches for 61 yards. He was a very positive point on that offense, but there weren't many other positives, and that is why a change was needed. That change is Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart has a lot of high expectations for his NFL career, and it's something he's really used to. He was a beast in college. It got him to being the 25th overall pick to the Giants, and he was a beast in high school too. That's how he got to Ole Miss. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year and Max Prep's National Player of the Year as a senior, 4-star recruit, the number 2 player in Utah, and he actually went to USC originally. He got some playtime as a true freshman, but then once Lincoln Riley got that job and brought over Caleb Williams, Dart decided to transfer to Ole Miss, where he had a pretty good sophomore season. He had almost 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks, rushed for 600 yards and a touchdown. A good reminder with Dart, he can definitely use his legs when he needs to. He's not necessarily a mobile quarterback, but he can move around in that pocket. Rebels went 8-5 his first year there, lost a bowl game, and then from there, I mean, the Rebs kind of turned it up. They went 11-2 in 2023, won the Peach Bowl. Dart improved to throw for over 3,300 yards, 23 touchdowns, only had 5 picks, almost 400 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. He could have declared for the NFL draft, but he decided to stick around for another season, and it was definitely worth it. It was his best yet, 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 500 yards rushing just about, and 3 touchdowns. Ole Miss went 10-3, won a bowl game. Dart was a clear top quarterback in the class. The projections for where he would get drafted were kind of all over the place in the first round mostly. Cam Ward ended up going first overall to the Titans, and then the slide was on. How long would it take for the next quarterback to go? Well, it was indeed Jaxson Dart down at 25. The next guy wasn't even off until Tyler Shuck in the second round, and those guys all went before Jalen Milroe and Shedeur Sanders got off the board too. The Giants needed franchise quarterback pretty bad. Daniel Jones didn't work out there, and even if Jaxson Dart is great, I'm still not going to be surprised if the Giants are looking for a new head coach soon. Dart's an interesting prospect. He showed a lot of talent and ability to be a legit NFL quarterback when he was at Ole Miss. He just feels like a dude that fits in with the Giants. It's going to be cool to see what he can do, but I do think it's a bad spot to be in. That team is bad. That offensive line is bad. There are not a ton of positives for the Giants, but if Dart and Cam Scadaboo can play well as rookies, suddenly there is hope for the future and hope for whatever coach takes over next season.